that, you know, when I see these, I think here where potentially nobody goes. We've seen a bit of witness or signs that.
Seen a horse.
We've seen a horse, but we've seen a few sweet wrappers that potentially kids might
over
not,
there.
may pass through. But it's not certainly not somewhere that you would come on a regular basis. You're not hanging out here.
No, that climb was pretty brutal.
When I see trees like that, I think, yeah, of course, it's deadfall. It can happen naturally, but I also think, well, why would it? Because you automatically think, well, wind.
It's not windy here, is it?
In here, there's just no wind. You're not. It's not going to be. I'm not saying it can't. Oh, I mean, it's not even a good tree, is it?
No.
It's not standing out as anything different.
No.
And like you said, I think you said in some of your videos, the concentration of why is it one specific area? Why is that a concentrated?
Have you seen this? So this one, it comes up and is bent all around and tucked under there.
Okay.
So how's that got all the way around there?
I mean, it could have fell and pushed it down, but why?
Yeah.
Is there something about the soil in this particular part of the wood?
Well, it's chalk. This is all chalk.
What is it about this first bit here, where all these trees have fallen down into this one spot? Now granted, when 2 or 3 trees fall, they do create a bigger area to be caught in. Sure. However, how many is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. And then you have multiple leans. It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, very. How far from the path are we, Chris?
What? Is there a path?
We came over the fence, we turned right off the path. It's
what, 25 metres?
If that. If that.
And it's really so dense in here as well. I mean, you can't see.
Do you like that?
I like it. I mean, how long have we been here? 5 minutes?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's have a look over there, because it's even better.
Okay. Lead the way.
So we just spent an hour wandering round down near Dartford, only to find that we couldn't really get off the road, which was unfortunate because the woods looked amazing from Google Earth. Regrettably, I didn't actually notice that there was a 30-metre gradient.
Which is ideal for them. Not
You
for
think?
us.
No, not for me, it's not. How about this one? Yeah, mad. Mad.
It's a balance thing, perhaps. The weight of the rest of the trees sort of took it over. But
I'd like you to have a look at this one.
wait a minute. So that defies gravity somehow and falls. It's possible. It's possible, isn't it? It fell higher up and sort of. Again, all these things are possible, aren't they? It's just when there become so many of them in one concentrated area, then your ear's perfect, isn't it?
Just a bit. Just a bit.
No.
Do you hear that? No, it's not a horse. I'm not sure it's not the horse.
one. Just.
Yeah. Now, to be honest, this is more spectacular than my normal patch because everything's bigger, but it's not as intricate and it's easier to explain away. But nevertheless, it takes some explaining away.
You don't really see. I mean, in my particular area, you don't really see anything like this. And we were saying earlier in the car, weren't we, about our structures in comparison to America's. They're not. People say they're alike, and they are. I guess in what's the word? Scale-wise, they're nothing alike.
No,
they're just not. And
scale models, perhaps, but because the medium they're made with is smaller, they'll do more. You know, they'll bend further, they'll twist differently. I don't know.
If structures are relative to the sort of landmass or the land area, if the size of them, the amount of them, it makes sense that there would only be, you know, a handful in any sort of given area in Britain anyway. I mean, I think in remote areas of Britain, you're going to find bigger structures. I'm almost certain of it.
Yes.
Which is the next step for me anyway. Really remote parts of Scotland, which people don't think exist, but they really, really do. So, but this place, this has all the sort of feel, doesn't it?
It does.
It's got the structures.
Now, 30 yards over there, 20 yards over there, there's a pathway, and at the other side of the path, the woodlands are quite different. I think
different species of trees.
Yeah, let's go and have a little look. Come on. That's it. Oh.
Taking on the journey, John.
Yeah. Don't break your ankle, will you?
No. That's right.
This is all a bit weird, isn't it, too? You see how it just changes?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
This is very dark and dense, and this side's just like, oh. And it goes away down into a basin, and then there's some arable farming. And this way it goes for a couple of miles that way. I think we just have a wander up and down the path.
Yeah, good.
And you'll see.
See if we can.
Yeah.
See anything off the path.
Indeed. Like my pal Czech. I'll use his alias. My pal Czech saw he described as a chimpanzee when he was here.
And this is when he was here with you?
Yes.
So what was his reaction?
Oh, what's that? What's that? What's that? Did you see that? What's that? That was his reaction. Yeah.
So you didn't have the camera on at this point? Or?
Yeah, I did. He was like where you are now, and I'm filming over there, and he's seen something.
So is that on YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's called A Trip to Kent, I think it's called.
Oh.
Yeah, probably. That's the way, but so to the left of the path there are lots of small asterisky types of structures.
Yeah, do you know what? I've never come across them in my area.
Well, you're gonna.
I'm really keen to see one of those.
You're going to, mate. And mind you, it's a lot. It was April I was here last, and it was daylight, and it's now dusk and August, so there's a lot more greenery than there was, and it's not as easy to see into the woods what's going on. And I think that's something that needs to be done, is that all over the country we should pick a habitat that we think is active or has been, and there should be, on a daily basis, take a photograph. Same time every day, take a photograph. I might just let you point the stuff out, mate, because you're going to see odd things here.
Okay, let's look at it. So what's that about?
Well, that is that the fat end or the thin end?
Exactly.
Because that's a hazel.
So what makes those? I think this is why we were talking about speaking to a tree specialist. Or
Yeah,
botanist.
dendrologist is.
Yeah, is the correct term for that.
Yeah.
I think it's really valuable. We need someone like that in the group.
Mm.
Even if he just ruins all our research.
Please do.
Yes. Please, no, we need someone to come
I'm
along.
waiting for a bushcrafter with some credentials to come and tell me that I'm mad and that I ought to calm down. I'm really waiting for that.
See, these are interesting. You know, they're sort of like nets, aren't they? They sort of catch the
Yes.
deadfalls. But then again, sometimes you come across really interesting ones.
So there's an arch. How did it get like that? And I think this is in.
Sort of surrounded by. I mean, if that's the same species as, I mean, you can almost see what's happened to some of these. This one here. Is that
Yeah.
just what happens?
Well, my sister argues that that's exactly what happens, and what goes on is a. See, that's not pinned. That's just as it is.
Yeah.
And what goes on is trees will search for light.
Yeah.
There's not enough. They grow all spindly, and then eventually gravity takes over and goes, nah, lad. And
In this case, I'd go along with that.
yeah,
I mean, in fact, the majority of cases that I've seen.
yeah,
But as you said, you found one or two pinned
That-
that really have been pinned.
yeah,
You know, I mean, nature does some weird things, doesn't it?
definitely. Made me for starters.
Exactly, yeah. Made all of us, so. Leans like that. But,
See, I think that stick lent in that Y there is much, much older than the stick that it's lent in.
it appears to be, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, if it's fallen from up there, again, this is where the what's the name again?
Dendrologist.
Dendrologist. That's what the dendrologist comes in really useful because he answers those queries for you straight away.
He does. He might. I mean, where's that one come from, Chris? Is that just... That's grown there, hasn't it?
Yeah. Normal. Wacky.
Mm.
think that's got to be the next step. We really need to be contacting someone who knows what we're looking at here.
Well, the conversation we had earlier was interesting, and that was about what is the objective. Because it certainly isn't my objective to try and capture in flesh, in a trap, or hunt. Yeah, it'd be amazing to have a photograph or some video and something that's like definitive. But what you didn't do then is you just invite people to tell you you'd made it up, or it's Photoshop, and where does it then lead? What is the objective behind doing this? Because I think 95% of the public couldn't care less.
No.
They're just interested in like what's going on Love Island. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Caught ya!
No, you're right. I think you're right. I think a lot of wind, trees banging, clacking. You're right.
Yeah.
I think the objectives. I think in some parts of ufology, for example, I think they've lost total perspective about what they're trying to achieve
Yeah.
in ufology, and I think we're in danger of doing not anytime soon, but you know, as things evolve and as the movement evolves and as we get more researchers on board, it's inevitable you're going to get a few idiots. It's inevitable.
Yes.
What are we trying to achieve? I think we're doing well in terms of gathering numbers now at the minute, but I think the next step's got to be some sort of structure. We're doing well collecting data, we're doing well collecting glyphs and structures, but as you say, what then?
Yeah.
For me, there isn't anybody getting into those remote areas. That's where I'm coming from. I mean, I'm not just saying that as a filmmaker, I'm saying it as someone who has found enough structures and has seen enough ground sticks where I'm at the point now, okay, we've done this now. There's 30 of us finding this, so what do we do now? And I think the next step's got to be getting to Scotland, and for me that's a personal, I don't know, I just need it.
You can get Iron Brew down here as well, you know, mate.
Yeah, okay. It's just not the same, is it?
I don't know.
It's just not the same. No, I mean, there are remote areas in England. Northumberland is a huge forest up there, and that's where I'm due to go there in 2 or 3 weeks.
We talked about Kielder. And
yeah, Kielder's a great place. But one night expeditions, it's not going to work. I'm not saying it's not going to work. It may do, but
then you're going home again, thinking, "Oh my God, I wish I'd been there for a week."
Absolutely, yeah.
I wish I'd have been there for 2 weeks.
It's a pity we can't rotate, if you like. But then again, you need someone sometimes to validate your experience.
Of course.
If it's not something you manage to capture on camera, which is probably going to be the case. Okay. So we can just hear something. That's down here, isn't it? Try a whistle. Do you know what? I got a whistle back. When I went to Scotland, I whistled. Walked past this row of trees and got a whistle back. And I just brushed it off as nothing.
The wind has certainly picked up, hasn't it?
As we've come up the hill, yeah. Come on, let's carry on one way. Yeah, I think the idea for me to go into more remote parts is just to see if we can find these incredible structures that I think probably have to be out there. We have the small ones here, and we have some really intricate ones here, but we don't have anything that, for me, that you.
That's definitively been manipulated with
absolutely.
brute strength.
Yeah.
See, that's what got me into this, is that I fell down a YouTube rabbit hole. What have you found, man? Look at that.
So what's that? Is that the end?
I don't think we're going to see much on the camera, you know. Again, you've got that one.
So that's
The end is there.
and the end is there.
Got a little A-frame there.
So this is like a blind, isn't it?
Yeah. That's pinned there. That's exactly what it is.
That's like a little blind from the path.
Funny. There we are talking away, and bosh, right there. What's the other side of it? That's interesting.
Yeah. That's pinned, isn't it? Although.
Well, it's certainly trapped under this, but for me, this ivy covered thing down here has been dead a lot longer than this has been alive.
That looks constructed, doesn't it?
Uh,
To me.
Definitely. Definitely. Probably a deer or something like that.
Yeah, could be.
But there is definitely a living creature somewhere over there. Probably a deer. It's not a pigeon in a tree. From over there.
I don't know. I thought it came from over there.
Well, I did whistle. You heard me whistle.
Yeah,
didn't
you whistle. Yeah, I mean in the space. Like you say, I think there's definitely something about.
You know this wood knock stuff?
Yeah.
Right. I cannot believe that that is two pieces of wood being banged together. Because I defy you to find two pieces of wood, bang them together in here and make that noise.
Yeah, there are people that believe it's done with the hands. A combination, yeah, like a clicking or a combination of hand and mouth and breath and.
Yeah. Something like that.
I've never really tried wood knocking if I'm honest. I just fear that it might scare them away. I mean, they're probably scared away anyway, aren't they? So I guess you might say, well, what's the harm?
Pair of clumsy fools like us. Yeah. Well, if I was a rabbit or a fox or a deer or a badger or a stoat or a weasel or a bird, I'd get as far away from you and me as I could. But there's definitely something over there.
What I wonder about them trees. What I wonder about that is, deer are generally pretty silent. There's definitely something wondering about up there, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
tree, isn't it? You see that? Through that.
The dark rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
It's not your mate's
What
monkey.
is interesting, Chris, is other than whatever that is making that noise over there, what else can you hear? Can you hear any birds?
We hear nothing, do you? I mean, I've had the recorder out at all hours, really late, and the birds are there. The birds are always... In fact, the birds are a pain in the ass when you're doing the audio work.
There's a knock over there. Gonna give us a whistle, guys? Nah,
No?
of course they're not.
Say.
That'd be, well, that'd be the Holy Grail, wouldn't it? And then what do you do next?
Did you hear the whistle? I'm sure I just heard a whistle. Man.
No, but I tell you what, I just did see. I just saw a light.
Yeah, I think it's the... Just see through the trees, can you see that? It's just... Oh, something different. If you stand here, and look right through there. You can see...
Yeah, maybe.
Definitely got to bring your audio device up here.
It's 30 miles from my house, mate. But if there's anybody in Kent who's got an audio device and is interested in this subject, if you want to leave a comment, and if I think you're genuine, I'll take you and you can learn where this is and you can leave an audio device here. You know, it's not mine, this isn't ours, this is everybody's. Sounds like a doorbell.
I think the whistling I heard was an owl, because I think I just heard it again.
Wish I had eyesight like an owl, mate.
This is where your flare is useful.
Hmm. So the other side of that blind, yeah, I wonder. No, well and truly dead. This looks contrived as well, doesn't it? I don't know how much you can see of this on the video, but it's getting quite dark.
Yeah, what is this stuff?
Some vine.
So, I guess it's doing what it's actually meant to do.
Yeah, I think so. This is all a bit weird. Still there. Whatever that is behind us, it's still there. Give us a knock, guys. Video that you did of mine where you you did that little analysis and said there might be 3 of them in there.
Yeah.
On that visit I had this sensation that people who went to parties in the 90s might appreciate.
Yeah.
Of just being high, and I'll let you fill in the blanks, and giddy, and I heard a really high-pitched whistle that you used to get from the old-fashioned cathode ray TVs.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I got one of them and felt giddy. It's the best way to describe it. And I don't get any of that here at all. And I've had that twice now.
In the same place, or
No, 2 different places. One was just outside Caterham, and the other was at Crexworth outside Watton in Norfolk, where Carrie, my sister, got an electric shock in the middle of the woods. Bizarre.
So with you were there.
She was there. Yeah, of course she was. I was with her, and she's just gone like, oh, like she described it like she grabbed an electric fence, and you know you get that bolt in the crook of your elbow.
Yeah.
Where it was like that. She said, "There's no electric fence there at all. It's like this." That's where we find skulls and bones, and this huge balance. Massive. I should have measured it out, but I reckon it was 15 to 20 metres long, this log, which was just balanced really, and like a seesaw.
Yeah.
Both ends off the ground. Mad.
Weird.
Really mad. But I don't get a sensation here that it's not oppressive, it's not...
No, it doesn't feel oppressive at all, does it?
Yeah, there's no energy, electric sort of thing. It's just the woods.
And it makes you wonder if that's a conscious choice on their behalf, doesn't it? To sort of let you know they're around, either warning you off or the opposite of that. Or is it something to do with your state of mind that you're picking up on something?
Yes.
Because with the sightings as well, I mean, I don't know whether this is valid in this sort of research, but people believe it's valid in seeing ghosts, like the rods and cones in the eyes. Is that something the witnesses have that in common? Do you know that kind of thing?
Yeah. That your
Something measurable.
pineal gland is open.
Yeah, something like that,
Yeah.
Your vision is different, essentially. You're able to pick up different spectrums
Yeah.
alike, for example.
You watch
now-
too much Netflix, mate.
Well, it might be taken. This is going off. This is like sort of alien business and ghosts and paranormal, but we're sort of being. I don't know if it's deliberate. Are we being forced down that route? Are we being forced away from the flesh and blood by all this woo? Are we being forced to look too hard at the woo? Is that? I guess that's my.
Well, I don't put a lot of stock in it, simply because there's nothing else that displays that. What else displays woo? Do you know what other animals?
No, you're right. I think.
What other animals? So the animals out there that possess incredible abilities, lots of things that live in the sea do. You know, they're bioluminescent, they're see through, they can change colour, they can give electric shocks, they can sense magnetism, electric pulses and stuff. There's lots of that in the ocean. I don't think there's a great deal of that in the animal kingdom. I stand to be corrected, but those things are all explainable by the senses and the glands that the animal possesses.
Yeah, and by the fact that science has been able to get specimens.
And there they are, and we see them, and we catch them, and we investigate, and we analyse, and we dissect, and go, oh yeah, right, yeah. I don't think we've ever dissected an animal and gone, there's no rhyme or reason why that thing can change colour. We've gone, oh right, that's how it does it.
So even after your experience with the sort of
euphoria was the way to call it. Yeah.
What about? I mean, I suppose it could be classed as. Well, then again, you can.
I'll tell you what I thought that was. Straight up, I thought that was ultrasound. I thought that was something I couldn't hear, that made my senses light up, but it didn't register with my 5 senses, which were the ones that we know and use. I thought there was something there, just the same way that you go, oh, you know, they teach in school that you've got 5 senses, which is sight, hearing, taste,
smell.
Thanks. Touch. There are much more than 5.
Yeah, many.
You know, I can tell when the temperature changes. I can tell what's up and what's down. You know, I can tell if there's something watching me.
And you can also sense when you walk into a room and there's a negative sort of
Absolutely
atmosphere.
You can.
So why would that be any different outdoors?
It can't be. So I think there's a lot in it for me as to perhaps why there isn't a consensus that Bigfoot exists in this country, and that is that the government know full well what does and doesn't exist in this country. In America, the Bigfoot is on Rio will tell me what it is. There's a map and it says what the flora and fauna is in this state. Bigfoot's on it. They accept it.
So, yeah.
They accept it. And so, you know, I'm confident that if such a thing exists, the government know about it. Deb's posted a video about how a wild man was caught in the 50s and shipped off in an MOD van. And I think, therefore, we're not allowed to know about that. What the government actually want us to be doing is to be watching EastEnders, buying junk food, spending money on shiny stuff, watching the football at the weekend, and paying our taxes. And that's all they're interested in us doing. The minute you step outside of that and start going, hold on a minute, what's going on over there? You know, you have ridicule and I think there's a lot of stock in that.
No, I think you're right. I think it doesn't necessarily. I mean, there's no harm in giving it that name, Woo, because we haven't got a better name for it, have we?
No.
It's just something we don't understand. So if you know, I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of it's deliberate anyway. The infighting, I think a lot of it's that is induced, isn't it? It's sort of much like, again, I keep referring to ufology. The same thing happened in ufology. Mis and disinformation being thrown in.
Yeah.
Rogue people being thrown in. And then you get your general idiots that have nothing better to do anyway.
Yeah.
So we've all that to come, I think. I mean, you can just see it surfacing now, I think, on some of the forums. But it's cool, you know. I think you just develop a thick skin, don't you?
Definitely. Definitely. Well, mate, I can barely see anything now. Can you see anything? I can't see more than 20 yards. It's misty over here now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the light's going quickly, isn't it? And
I think it might
whatever that was wandering around seems to have.
It's certainly quietened down. I think we ought to go for a pint, mate.
Let's do it.